me see if I can spell.
So only on the podcast we have our guests having their own spelling bee. So go ahead. What's the next word? Give it through her word.
Cannabis.
Cannabis. Cannabis.
I don't know if you're right.
Gorilla glue.
Spell
Gorilla glue.
Spell medicinal. Spell medicinal.
Go.
Medicinal. MED.
I don't know if you're right.
CINAL. Medicinal.
I don't know if she had.
No, that sounds like it wrong.
No, I said.
You thought there was an N in there somewhere?
There is medicinal.
Spell prohibition.
PROHIBITIO.
Okay, spell indubitably.
In who?
Yeah, okay. Let's get
You
into
spell it since you gave it to me.
No. We're not doing this.
Oh, okay.
Let's get into our esteemed guests. We've had a lot of conversation off camera, off audio. We pride ourselves in telling stories about interesting people who are pushing the culture forward. Did I say that? Culture forward?
I think so. Before that, you said some bullshit, but we get it.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna pass it off to Kev so we can get into our guest and learn about her journey and what she got going on.
So first of all, beloved, it would be nice if you would have introduced our guest, but I got this.
You got it. You the producer.
This is the Hey Now.
You the curator.
Restart.
And no, I could still jump off of beloved. We still do that. But our guest, Linda, everything, Aybar. I'm sorry, Aybar.
No, that's in English. Aybar.
Aybar.
Aybar is in Spanish.
AKA.
You said Linda.
AKA Gumbo.
Gumbo.
AKA Renaissance Woman. AKA Jack of all trades.
Jane.
AKA I multitask. And I do whatever I want to put my mind to. So, yeah, let's get into it.
So, nice little backup intro from beloved. So, I've been wanting Linda. Which one we gonna go with?
Whatever you want.
I don't want to go with the Americanized name.
So we're gonna go with Linda.
Linda. Dominicano. Linda. Culture. Linda. Okay.
The Remy in the system.
Ain't no telling.
Linda. Oh my
Okay.
God.
Linda.
So
Linda. Okay.
Linda.
yeah, we've been we were supposed to have this interview a while back, but
July 2017. 18.
Yes, I think you're right. I think you're right
No,
with
I'm
the dates.
100%. I know I saw it last week.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, so over a year and some change ago, I wanted her on the show because one, I know she was working on a dope project, but also the more I kind of learned more about her, I noticed that she does a little bit of everything. So her handle on her Instagram makes sense. Everything. Aybar.
Yes.
At first I was like, what the hell does that mean? But then...
Really?
Yeah, cause I was like, everything Aybar, alright, whatever. But then I started seeing your businesses and everything else that had that. And then I started noticing you don't do one thing. And when I seen that, I was like, yo, that shit is dope because we tend to get stuck in a box and just feel that, I know I'm in this position now because I actually spoken to you about it, but when people just try to put you in a box that you could just do one thing, and that's it.
Try to marginalize us. Can't do that.
And what I've been learning from you is that no, there isn't such thing as a box. You can do whatever you want. You could do multiple things. So we're just gonna get into that. So I have a few questions. That I would like, hopefully, get some answers.
Okay.
So yeah.
Beloved, do you have questions too? I like saying your name. Beloved.
Beloved.
It's so sweet
Beloved.
and tender to the lips. Beloved.
I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah. So
I have a lot of different characters, so I'm gonna be romantic. With
Yeah, yes. I embrace all of it. Yo, you know, the last couple of weeks, and Kev, and I don't mean to get emotional right now, but
you're drinking. You go ahead.
yeah, the Remy's in
the
the
system. I know.
You know, I'm from Boston, right?
Let's go, Boston!
From
Woo!
Boston,
Relax.
by
Relax.
also from Brockton.
Relax.
Also, Kev was one of the first people that embraced me when I came to New York. You know, so we had a lot of commonalities, and he was like, "Yo, you have a good vibe. I'm gonna make sure you're taken care of." And then, you know, throughout so many conversations, this project came about. So I don't know how I got to this point, but yeah, Kev, get into the first question.
Let's start out by saying thank you, beloved. So where you from?
Nah, it's my guy, yo. My mom know.
He's awesome.
Yo, my mom
Kevin
know
is
who
a
he is.
really
My sister
awesome
know who
person.
he is.
My guy.
My dad know who he is. Cause they ask me, yo, who do you hang out with? I'm like, yo, I be with Kevin Linares.
Yeah, when you're not in Brooklyn.
But I'm not there. I told you, come to yo. There's money in Brooklyn.
There is money in Brooklyn.
It's tough for me to go out.
There's money in Oakland. There's money in Atlanta.
Yo,
There's money in Houston.
my brother. So
We gotta go get the money.
I'm going back to
Follow
my
the
guest. Where are you from?
There's money
Let's
in
start off
Boston
from
too.
that. Where was
Okay.
you born and raised?
I was born in Bellevue Hospital in Manhattan.
Okay, born in Bellevue. Okay.
What year?
1989. I
Okay.
made the cut.
So
baby.
you still an 80s baby?
Yes!
80s baby.
Thank you. I'm an 80s baby. I made the cut.
That's special. 80s.
That is very special.
That's
That's why I
special.
pride myself in my
Because when I be
89.
talking to 90s people, I'm like,
They don't be knowing.
yeah.
All right, so you was born in Manhattan.
I was raised in the Bronx all my life.
Where hip hop
All your life, really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you was raised in the Heights
Really? No.
and just like started living
Never.
in the Bronx. Really?
No. I worked in the Heights. My first real job was in the Heights, yeah. But I grew up in the Bronx.
What part of the Bronx?
Well, when I was born, we were in Sheridan 167. That block was hot.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that
Hot.
block was a little different.
Then we moved to Elliott Place, and that block got hotter.
Mm-hmm.
But we
Elliott
had the
Place.
best weed in the Bronx.
Jesus. Okay.
Sorry.
Set the
Yo,
tone.
I had to.
No.
Chocolate. I gotta shout out my blocks. Elliott Place.
Elliott Place.
Okay.
Okay. Elliott Place chocolate. Okay.
Chocolate, and they had the little chocolate, like the kisses on the baggies. And they used to sell dimes. Super cool.
Okay.
Culture. I support it.
So, now, as you was coming up, was you a kid that just was interested in a lot of things?
Yeah, actually, I think that's how I got to everything Aybar. Because I used to tell my dad. So my dad, ironically, he used to scream at us and tell us like I was an average student. I wasn't great, and he wanted me to be a scholar. But I really didn't care. I'm like, I'm passing. What's the matter? Like, this is not gonna matter one day in the future. That's how I used to think about it. And he'd be like, what do you want to be? You could be whatever you want to be. And I'm just like, okay, so then let me be this. And then like, no. And it's just like, all right, so then I can't be whatever the fuck I want to be. And at first, I remember saying I always wanted to be a fashion designer since I was little. Because I used to watch my cousin's sketch, and I'm like, yo, that's so cool. I want to improve my skills to theirs. And I wanted to do that. And then I also said I wanted to be a businesswoman, and I wanted to be a firefighter, and I wanted to be a swimmer, and I wanted to do everything. My dad's like, you can't do everything. I'm like, why not? Like, why not? So I've always been stuck on that. I'm like, I'm just gonna do everything. If it doesn't work out, then move on to the next thing. And when you get bored, just move on.
So you mentioned you was into sketching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did sketching lead to painting?
Yeah, so my dad is the artistic one in the house.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So he saw that I was really good and that I actually enjoyed drawing all the time. So he put me in art school, and I was in art school for all the way up until 8th grade. Then when I got to high school and I could make my choices, the art instructor of the school, the high school, all 4 years, he kept on begging me to freaking join his the art club, and I never did. But I stopped painting after that, and it wasn't until like 2 years ago that I picked it back up.
What inspired you to get?
I missed that silence and that element that you go into when you're painting, because your mind is just focused on what you're trying to bring out. Like, I get these visions in my head and I'm like, I need to put it onto paper. So I had like my skills like got a little fucked up because I had stopped painting for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just like, you know what, I could perfect this. Like, I looked at my old sketches because I never threw them out, and I picked up the brush. I got some acrylic. Yeah. But I've always been very creative. Like, I stopped painting, but I was doing arts and crafts and stuff, or I'll do events. I was DJing. I was working as a promoter.
DJing.
So unpack that.
I want to get into unpack that.
Unpack that.
So when you say DJ,
unpack that. What you mean?
Vinyl, CDs, Serato.
I started with CDs.
You scratching?
I started with CDs. I was 11 years old when I fell in love with DJing. I saw DJ Chris, and he used to be in La Mega. And so when we were little...
Educate the people, because I don't know what that is.
La Mega is New York's oldest Spanish radio station.
Okay.
Most popular. Still to the present day, I think.
Okay. Educate the people.
It's like Hot 97.
Yeah,
but for
Spanish.
the Latino, okay.
So, I was 11. So when we were little, I grew up going to a social club with my parents. Every weekend, it was called 30 de Marzo, like el 27 de febrero. So every weekend we would be in the club. Mm-hmm. And it would be like adult parties.
At 11?
It's a social club. So people come with their families. And they gather there and they'll play bingo and they'll drink.
At 11.
No, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, but it was a club for families.
For families?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
That's what they call it.
That's what they call it. Okay.
Yeah, that's where you had your first kiss and like hung out with all the same kids every fucking weekend. So, that's where I actually had my first kiss. I was 13.
Jesus.
His name was Mickey.
Oh.
Shout out to Mickey. You chose well. You have taste, Mickey.
No, oh my god, I thought it was like the grossest thing ever when I kissed him.
Oh, Mickey. You didn't do it right, Mickey?
I had my cousin. No, it was just, I had never kissed anybody, and I was just like, oh my god.
Oh, Mickey. Oh, Mickey.
But I liked Mickey. But me and Mickey dated after that, and I kissed her more after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mickey.
And then I broke up with him because I thought my mom was going to find out, and I was sad.
Oh, Mickey, you stay losing out here, Mickey. What's going on, Mickey? But go ahead.
All right,
Tell me
so
about this club. You in the club at 11 years old.
Yeah, and they used to have parties all the time. So DJ booth, like, you had to go up some stairs, and it was really cool. And it was like a little room that when it wasn't being used, us the kids, we used to play in it. So I used to look at the equipment and stuff, and I was the one that would always play music in our house. Mm-hmm. So my dad would be like, oh yeah, you go play music.
So you used to make the playlist.
Pretty much. I used to use my boombox to put in blank cassettes and record stuff from the radio.
So you was making your own mixtapes.
Yeah.
So you was DJ Kick Capri before Kick Capri, well after Kick Capri.
Wait, if you want to say so.
Okay.
So whatever. I started taking over the DJ booth when the DJ wasn't there, and I was playing music with CDs.
At 11.
Mm-hmm.
Initiative.
Yeah. And then as I became a teen, the DJ, they switched him, and this other guy came in that he became a family friend, and he started like throwing me into the DJ booth. He's like, you go, you DJ. And then I started having my own parties. So when I'm having my own parties,
at what age is this?
I was 15, 16. So I'm promoting in high school, like I went to all-girl Catholic high school. So me throwing a party and bringing all the girls.
Shout out to Cardinal Spellman.
That wasn't the school I went to.
No, I know. I'm just having a flashback.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Shout out to Mount St. Ursula.
Oh.
Shout out to Cathedral.
Shout out to Aquinas. Hayes.
But that's a conversation for another day. But go ahead.
So yeah, so I started DJing and I was having my own parties. After I graduated high school, I started having even more parties, and I even turned. So my father's a super. We've lived in a basement mostly my entire life. We have an open back space in the back of the house that I turned into like a lounge, and we called it the back lounge. So I would have parties back there, and I'll DJ and I'll also bartend at the same time.
At what age?
17.
17. So you see the progression here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and then when I was 19, I met my friend DJ Drew Crazy, and he introduced me to LMP. Then I became a member of Lo Maximo Productions, and I was DJ Linda. That's how everybody knew me in the Heights and in Uptown. And I started promoting, and then I started working with CDJs. And they started teaching me Serato because at that time I had went from CDs to virtual DJ, so it was pretty sad. And they were like, "We need to make you better. Like this is an embarrassment to DJs right now."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, fine." So I learned Seratos. I got my equipment. Then I started doing private parties, and I tried the club. The first club and the only club that I ever played. Actually, that's not the only club, but it was Jet Set. Do you remember Jet Set?
Where?
On Webster. Then it turned into Luna.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So that was the first club I ever played in, and it was a really big club in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. I was like, I'm not doing clubs because everybody was always trying to convince me you should start DJing at clubs. I'm like, I don't like it.
So you don't really like the big atmosphere?
I don't like the public. I like private events. I like intimate things because it's like you feel the energy. In a club, there's too much energy going on that you can't get in touch with the crowd, and you have to get the crowd in touch with you. And I don't feel like music should ever work that way. Like as a DJ, you need to put music out there for the world because it's an art.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for the audience. So I don't know. Like people come to the club with different intentions, so you don't really know their vibes. Or who's in the room and who switches the energy just flows differently. Like somebody could walk in that you don't like automatically. Your mood changes. Yeah.
Scratches, right?
So you want to fight, and I'm here trying to play some music for you to grind on. It's just weird. I did not like it. I was like, I don't want to do this. It's not for me, and I also feel like it's gonna take away from me loving this as a hobby.
So is that why you
That never done.
Is this why you supposedly retired?
I'm not supposed to be. I am retired. I've been retired for the exception of this weekend on Saturday.
You coming out of retirement?
I am. I'm doing my friend, she's a fitness coach, and her program is gonna turn 1 year old. It's called the 8R30 Challenge, and I'm DJing her event. I'm coming out of retirement just for her because it's women encouragement, empowerment, and
Women empowerment.
yeah.
I support
excited
women
for that.
We
empowerment.
need that.
And
We
fitness.
need that.
So now
Mm-hmm.
we covered a little bit how you got into painting,
Mm-hmm.
how you got into DJing.
Mm-hmm.
So how did the business Aybar come into play?
Okay, so that's interesting that you asked me that because I recently just came across, like, I'm the type of creator. So I grew up in clutter. My dad is a hoarder. And
So
I'm a
no,
minimalist.
you just hit a trigger. You just hit a trigger.
What?
You work good when there's a mess, though.
I gotta
No,
let
I
this
don't.
off my spirit.
I don't.
All right.
So
Can I let this off my spirit?
go ahead.
So, one thing I notice so we're all children of immigrant parents.
Mhm.
So I'm Haitian.
Mhm.
I'm the son of 2 immigrant parents. Same thing with Kev. Same thing with you.
Yep.
My parents are also hoarders.
Mhm.
Every time I go home, you don't know how many times I've had to order the dumpsters to dump shit out while they don't know. And then when you come home in 6 months, they find more stuff to replenish the
space.
junk they had. To the point where I've told my mom, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna call the Hoarder TV show to embarrass you. Maybe then you'll change. But yeah, that hit a nerve. To the point where now in my apartment, I like the place empty because I'm low-key traumatized by growing up with a bunch of just junk.
around you. Yeah. So that's
But I love my dad. I love my mom, but they're hoarders.
yeah, same. I think it's a thing that has to do with their childhood.
Yeah, they're used
For
to
not
not having
having.
things.
Yeah.
So it's like we've worked hard. We have to keep everything we have,
Yeah.
even though we don't need it.
So me, like I became a minimalist, and it's just switched my whole mindset. So like I felt like I worked and I was everywhere, and I didn't really have a sense of like when you come home, that's your sanctuary. So I didn't really have that peace to relax, to just think and clear my mind, because there was so much chaos around me, physically, verbally, and that I feel like I could have developed better if I didn't grow up in that kind of environment. So that environment played a huge role on that. Coming out is what helped me structure my business. So it started there. I was working at the Fox News building, and the opportunity came across in LMB while I was still with them to be their head of administration and run the office and everything. I was going to take a pay cut if I left and took that position, but it was also an opportunity for me to grow my business. I'm like, I can focus on branding it and everything now. I was trying to figure out the name. I'm like, what am I gonna name it? Like, I need something that says everything, cause I do this, I do that, I do this, but I also don't want to stay there. I want to be able to expand in the future. Like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, but I want something that's general and I can mold it with me. I was like, why not just everything Aybar? And that's how it started. It started with a Facebook page, and I named it Everything Aybar.
And now
What year is this?
This was in 2010. I did the page in 2012, but I went
You
solo
conceptualized in
2010.
2010.
Yeah, but I've been in this business since 2006.
So what does this business consist of? What does Everything Aybar consist of?
So we have our paralegal
I want the
side.
full breakdown.
The paralegal side, which is immigration. I do income tax. I do divorces. I am a notary, so a lot of times I do power of attorney letters. I help a lot of people get their cars out of impounds. I help people get letters so that their kids can travel with another adult when they're not traveling.
Community advocate.
Yeah, I can write up wills as a notary. I do a lot of business agreements, bilateral agreements. What else? Then we have the change your setting side, which is the new
break that down.
The new generation side. So that's where my creative side is. And me as an artist, me as also as a yogi, giving one-on-one yoga class or doing group classes. I'm gonna get my certification. I'm self-taught, but my gym, they offered me a position to get my certification so that I can do group classes there. So that's coming up soon. I know.
So health and wellness.
Yes, it's change your setting is all about mind, body, and spirit.
So
and feeding those three areas of your life to have balance.
I'm gonna just go back a little bit, but then we can continue going forward. How did yoga come about?
I started. You know what's funny? At 11, I discovered a lot of things. I was 11 years old. I was 11 years old when I first tried yoga, and I fell in love with it. I was acting at the time, actually. So
Thespian.
No. What?
what? Excuse me?
Thespian.
Oh, I swear to God, I thought you said something else, champ.
Thespian.
I was like, yo, what's wrong with you, yo? We just having a good conversation.
Thespian.
You come out of nowhere, you calling her that?
She does a lot of different things.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I'm very talented.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we see.
So, the program, it was a community program that was called, what was the name? Voice Identity Power, VIP.
Are they still functioning?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Shout out to
Voice Identity Power, New Settlement.
I know the New Settlement is still around, though.
Yes.
I know that for sure. On 170...
Second and Walton.
Yeah.
Shout them out one more time.
New Settlement.
Okay, cool.
We actually, we used to have a GED program there. In New Settlement.
Me and Kev work with the DOE. We mold young minds for a living. but not for long. But go ahead.
So I was acting. I did 2 plays with them, and I had the lead in one of them. Actually, I was so excited, so happy. Sometimes I think like I wanted to be an actress, but then I'm just like I don't know. I think I could still do it. I could do everything. Anyways, I'm
everything.
Gumbo.
Gumbo.
They took us one day on a trip, like a little retreat, and we went to do yoga. And I fell in love, and I was like, I want to do this every day. But it took so long for me to develop that. I eventually
practice.
yeah, but it was like I'll do it like once a year or every 2 years, and then after like high school, because then I was also a swimmer. I was the captain of the swim club in high school, so I was a lifeguard.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes.
Shout out to my mom. She made me and my sister join the swim team. I was all district. I don't swim anymore because my hair's too much. I mean,
You can wear a cap.
Yeah.
nah, not me. Like I got Marley. Like I'm braided right now.
You could be the Black Mermaid man. You like that, right?
So yo, I could walk out the beach mad slow with my hair out.
Yes.
With my
Black
hands
Mermaid
folded.
Man.
And I just look at everybody with my gut out.
I'm gonna draw that. I'm gonna draw that. I'm gonna draw you as the Black Mermaid Man, and we're gonna put it in the High Collections book.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Just remind me. Sometimes I forget. Make sure it's in my calendar.
All right, nah, we'll connect.
All right.
I'll hold you to that.
All right. So yeah, I got lost because you see I do too much.
Yeah, no. So we was talking about
yoga. So
right?
yeah, so I eventually after high school I started practicing a little more often, and throughout the years, you know, I developed that skill for and that strength. But this year, the beginning of this year, a lot happened last year, but the beginning of this year, I was like, no, I have to. I've been aiming to do a split because I used to be able to do a split when I was little, and I lost that ability.
So you want that
But
feel
that's a
back.
2019 goal. So by the end of December, I should, God willing, be able to do a split.
So I like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you won't get hurt.
Yeah.
As long as you won't get
Don't
hurt.
pull that hamstring.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not.
we
We're
need
not.
that.
We're not.
All right, so you're missing one though.
I'm missing one.
Aybar Kitchen.
Ah, the kitchen. Yes. Oh, and there's Parkside Place too.
Say that again. Oh yeah, that one.
Parkside Place.
Yes. So we could do Aybar Kitchen and then we transition to
Parkside Place. Let's
Yep.
do that. So Aybar Kitchen. The Aybar Kitchen is an amazing kitchen. And it started off of someone telling me that I can't cook.
You can't cook.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I gotta read.
I'm sorry.
Well,
So basically,
I might
You
even
st-
love.
he's lit right now. That's how he gets when he's in another world. But so you're telling me Aybar Kitchen came about because somebody said you couldn't cook?
Not that I couldn't cook necessarily, but that my cooking wasn't that great. So I felt challenged. And I was
So
I was
how
young.
how are you?
It was I don't want to mention the stores, but it empowered me because it was more than often that was mentioned to me.
Right.
So I started exploring the kitchen, and I was like, I'm gonna perfect all my skills in the freaking kitchen, and I'm gonna do plating, and we're gonna bring out plates like if they're coming from the restaurant. And it took me finally moving out of my house, my parents' house, and moving into my own place, that I was able to exercise that. Because I was like, every day I'm gonna make a different plate. Every day I'm gonna make it better. And that's
You strong because
what?
people tell me, "Oh, Jay, you can't cook," and I'm like, "So."
No. The thing is that there's something so special behind cooking for people and seeing people eat and just gathering. Like, not everybody gets to eat every day. So for you to have that ability and that skill, knowing how to survive, because let's say, for example, some crazy ass shit just happens right now. Everybody's dead in the world. How are you going to survive if you don't know how to cook?
Shit.
There's no processed food. Like, everything is melted. Like, now you got to grow your own crops. Do you know how to garden? You know, I've always put myself in the
Shout
position.
out to my pops. He used to garden all the time. But you really triggering some like childhood shit in me right now. But
Plus,
go
like,
ahead.
we forget that we're human. We're not, like, you know, technology is something that's a part of us.
Believe, are you Muslim? Are you Pentecostal?
I am a non-denominational Christian.
Non-denominational Christian.
I believe in God, Jesus, and the Bible. That's it. I live by the Bible.
You live by the Bible. So you attend church regularly?
Sundays.
Where do
My
you go
church
to church?
is in Texas, so I'm an E-church member of the Potter's House.
The
Shout out
Potter
to
TD
Bishop Jakes!
TD
Yes!
Jakes!
Bishop Jakes!
Shatabaya! Glory!
To
TD
God be the
Jakes.
glory. That's my bishop. I met him. He signed my book, his book Crushing, that he recently released. And that was such
So are you Holy Ghost filled and sanctified, or are you working towards that?
I want to say I am. I read my Bible every morning. That's my you know, that's part of my lifestyle. Like, that's the first thing I have to do, and it's actually always my
So
first.
you follow
post.
the Potter's House.
I am.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. So the reason why I say that, so like my mom, she got her minister certificate. I grew up in church.
So did I.
So my introduction to music
Was in church.
That's
beautiful.
They
God
was
bless.
like, either you join the choir or you join the band. And I'm like, the dudes in the choir don't get girls, so I'm joining the band. But my greatest memories as a kid growing up was in church. That was my YMCA, where we would hone our skills.
But I grew up in the Catholic Church. I left.
Built like camaraderie. And even though I don't, you know, play instruments regularly, I fell in love with music and just the process of creating music in the church. So I owe the church a lot. CLC.
I think you owe God.
839. I owe God. You know, shouts out to Phil. Mama Lydia.
Beloved. Beloved, so we could get this. We're gonna go back to the Aybar.
No, but she's a believer. That's deep.
That's deep.
That's
Extremely.
deep. Because, you know,
I'm a believer that smokes, and that's also a big issue.
yeah, prayer is important.
Oh, I'm a prayer
And I
warrior.
pride myself on wanting to be around people who know God and who know how to pray. So it's important.
That's a prayer request. I got you.
So yeah, she be doing that. Tell me she a little.
Nah, but like TD Jakes, the reason why I love a lot of his messaging, it's not judgy, it's not judgmental, it's not too churchy. A lot of his messaging is spiritual, but it's also modern, where we can relate.
It's
We can
layman's
relate.
term. It's layman's term.
We can relate.
He has this nuance of seeing where we've come from, because he grew up in a Baptist church, to where we stand at in our present time, and what our current afflictions and what the devils are right now, like opioid pills and shit.
Yeah.
Yo, man, them clinics, yo, I be feeling bad every time, man. I be walking by, I'm like, damn it, you can't tell me that these people are getting better using them shits. The opioid clinics, I be hating them shits. But going back to the Aybar kitchen.
Yes. So, alright, so I moved out, and I said I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna be a great chef, and people are gonna want to come to my house. They're gonna want to ask me to cook for them, and that's how far I've come. That I decided my food has gotten so amazing and delicious, and I've become so creative in the kitchen because I like to invent. I've always been a curious person. So while I was like perfecting my skills, I attempted to make chocolate chicken one time.
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? Because I think there was the truck was going by, and I think I heard something, but I'm not sure.
I attempted to make chocolate chicken one time. I'm still
chocolate chicken.
Yes, chocolate chicken. I still, there's just something about chocolate and chicken. Until this day, I'm still gonna figure the science out, and I think I have yet to attempt it.
You gonna fry it?
Yes, but it's also
chocolate fried chicken.
That's
I'll invite you for it.
That's super nigga though.
But it's the way that I'm gonna make it is gonna be so like, wow.
No, I believe you. You'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta try it. Chocolate fried chicken.
But
that sounds like diabetes though. That sounds like high blood pressure.
But if it's once it hit though, just make sure you know where you heard it. You heard it first here. Because I'm pretty sure you haven't told anybody about that.
Well, actually, my cousins did try the first chocolate chicken that I attempted. It was not good.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So they had the test run. So all right.
Yeah.
All right.
It just the side, what it came with, it did not go together. That's why I need to reattempt this dish and master it.
Okay.
But my most popular dish right now is the vegasmic.
Okay. Educate us.
It's a vegan pasta dish with a sausage in it, and it's made in a cast iron skillet with cooked avocado and a whole bunch of delicious veggies. And
so you call it the vegasmic?
Yes, because it's just like you're coming in your mouth when you're eating it. The saliva just doesn't stop. It's so good. It's so good.
Vegasmic?
Vegasmic.
Vegasmic.
Yes,
vegasmic.
Yo, so it's stories, yo.
It's on my menu.
I'm telling you, man.
So you got to do a pop-up shop.
I do have one coming up.
Out of a food truck. Tell the people about it.
I have an art show next week on Saturday in Brooklyn. The Expressionist. If you want to go to Vero. VERO.
Yo, Kev, we going?
She said it was from 7 to 11.
From 5 to 11.
From 5 to 11. Once I'm done with the activation.
Let's practice group economics. Let's support our queen.
So I'll be showing off 2 pieces of my art there while I'm at the bar section where I'll be serving some of my food from my kitchen. We're gonna have baked mac and cheese.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have chicharrón de pollo.
Oh.
Say that one more time.
We're gonna have chicharrón de pollo.
Say that one more time.
Chicharrón de pollo.
Shit up, baya. Alright, go ahead.
Tostones maduros and
Dominican. But go ahead.
There's one more thing, and I can't. Oh, my infamous guacamole.
Really?
I have some great ass guacamole.
I support it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna be showcasing your art and your creative cuisine.
Yes.
In one setting.
Yes.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been promoting this on your platforms?
I have, and my friend on her page as well, because it's her show, it's her art show.
Okay.
So there's other featured artists. Oh, this I can't remember his name right now, but he's gonna be there. His art is neon lights. It's super freaking dope, and I'm really excited to see it because I have yet to see his art in person. It's gonna be a dope show. Like there's gonna be live music. They're gonna have a band from 10 to 11 to rock out. It's free, the event. There's gonna be some jungle juice and my sangria.
You also okay. Yeah, we pulling up.
We should have known that.
We pulling up. So what's the date again?
Next Saturday, August 10th in Brooklyn.
10th. Okay, Brooklyn.
So,
spread love is the Brooklyn way.
So you said you're gonna be showing 2 projects. Are they done already?
They are. They're my 2 paintings. The most popular ones that everyone is always trying to buy from me, and I'm not selling them yet. One is called Choices. That's everybody's favorite. And then the other one is called Society.
Society.
Mm-hmm. Sounds deep.
They are both very deep. It's called Society, and its subtitle is No One's Listening and Nobody Cares.
Okay.
So,
I'm about to catch the Holy Ghost tonight. But go
I'll
ahead.
be
Kat.
here.
So, Aybar, what would
Put
you
my
have to
hands over
tell? What would you tell? What would you tell your younger self with everything that you know now? You know, with
You don't know it all. That's what I would tell my younger self. But you can learn it all.
and you can't do everything.
And you can do everything. And nothing is impossible. And that's what I tell all the children. Because everything I do, it's one for God, two for the children. They're the ones that are the future. We leave everything behind to them. And we see them, we are witnesses of the mistakes that our parents made. We have the ability to change that and not let them fall into the same mistakes. Show them that you can give a helping hand. You don't have to do it by yourself. That you do need support, words of encouragement, and you can explore, and you need to explore. But we need to make the world a safer place first, because people are afraid to come out just because either they're gonna be judged, or either there's a threat out there, or there's just hate out there, and it makes you want to stay closed in. So then you feel lonely, and at the same time you're trapped, and that's very detrimental to our mental health.
Extremely.
Yeah. So I would tell myself, you don't know it all, but you can learn it all.
I have a question.
Shoot.
I learned today that you're also a musician.
Carmencita's my guitar.
So, most people who know me know that, I manage a band. Shout out to IET Band.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Bridging the Gap, Healing Room, Common Artists. So my standards of musicianship are like super high.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to pick up an instrument?
This is gonna get deep. So December
Hold-
2018.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. December 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of a toxic relationship, and it was actually good and bad for me. I don't regret it, but it brought me closer to God. So January 1st, 2019, God gave me a message, and He said, "This year is about enduring silence." And I was just like, I didn't get it. But I received the message, but I didn't understand it. So happens that I ended up writing a book on fasting and silence. I got so into reading in the beginning of the year that I was making sure that I read at least one book every week. And
A week.
A week. A
Black
book a
people,
week.
let's read.
It's amazing. I encourage everybody to read. You never know what you come across. Just pick up something that catches your interest. So as I was reading, I started exploring a lot mental health and our workplace environment. I was also working in a very toxic environmental place, and I read this book called Dying for a Paycheck, and it's such an awareness of the type of society that we live in and what we work on.
Let's dive into that.
But wait, I gotta get to my guitar. So anyways, before we get there, point is I was doing a lot of, I wanted to make sure that I'm taking care of my mind, taking care of my body, taking care of my spirit. So a great way to exercise your brain, which is a subject that I was exploring and researching in 2018, is picking up an instrument. And you'll keep your brain active and be active enough to keep learning new skills and new abilities.
I want to hear about your journey as a guitar player.
Oh, I said so. I was reading, and I think I went over that already. So I picked up Carmencita has been in my parents' house. That's the name of my guitar. She's been in my parents' house and their junk and clutter for years, for like over, I want to say 15 years, and has never been touched. And I felt that was so disrespectful. So I decided that I wanted to pick up an instrument. I know one song on the piano. So the piano is, I had learned the piano in high school, and I wanted to learn something new.
What song is that you know on the piano?
That I never forgot, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Really?
What key do you play it in?
I don't know. I just figure it out.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
But I find the key. I just remember exactly how it goes.
Okay.
So I picked up Carmencita, and I have a friend that she plays the guitar, and I was like, you know what? I know a few people that also know beside her, but I need to learn. I need to pick up something. I need to keep my brain active. I don't want to lose my brain power, because your mind is the most powerful tool you have. So I need to exercise it in different ways. So I do it in art, I do it in music, I do it in reading, I do it in meditation, yoga,
And you also do it in writing.
and writing.
So speaking of writing,
Jazz.
before you know, we break apart because we taking up, I know, a lot of your time.
It's okay.
Let's get
It's
into
worth
what you've been working on, what you've been writing.
Change your setting, fasting and silence. So this came out of my second fast this year. So I got fired in April from my job, and I knew that was a pivotal moment in my life where I had to make a decision, and it's either I continue what I'm doing, working a day job, working for somebody else, or I pursue my dreams, and I actually just figure it out. So as the first month went by, I was praying and praying and praying and trying to, I'm like, I have a plan, but it's gonna take longer than what I expect. But I trust God in everything that I do. So I decided I needed to fast because the month was ending and I needed a plan. And the best way to get a prayer answered besides just praying is fasting, doing a sacrifice for God. So I did. Before I do a fast, anytime I ever do a fast, I pray to the Holy Spirit and I ask, what kind of fast? How long? What are my restrictions? And what God told me this time, He's like, no talking for 3 days, no selfies, no looking in the mirror, cover the mirrors in your house. You're allowed 1 meal a day and only water, and you're not allowed to listen to any music.
And God told you this?
Was when I prayed for the Holy Spirit that I got my answers, and this was the fast that He gave me this time. And I found this so weird. I'm like, 3 days in silence? Like, okay, I see what the message from January, when you said we're gonna endure silence. All right, let's fast in silence. So I was gonna take the time to continue working on my book, Change Your Setting, Take Control of Your Life. And from it, I created this book because I ended up writing the book about my fast and writing about my faith and what fasting is and how beneficial it could be in your life and how it could change your life. So in 3 days, I wrote an entire book.
3 days?
And it's also a journal, because I go into depth about so the fast is also journaling, and I go into depth about that and how important that is with us being in touch with paper and pen and being able to write, having that ability and that skill, and we don't take advantage of it. We don't really appreciate what our hands can do, and if no mirrors didn't exist in this world, the only thing we could really see is our hands. Like, we have eyes so that we can see what we can do with our hands, because we are creators.
You may proceed. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I decided that I wanted to write. We're gonna publish this book, Fasting in Silence, teaching people how to fast if they want to take the challenge up for fasting in silence, the 3-day fast in silence, and see what it could do for you. If I could write a book in 3 days, what can it bring into your life if you're going through an affliction or a trial and tribulation that you need answers to? So sometimes it's in silence that we're able to discern God's voice and His presence and the things, like, we really make everything still, not speaking back, because we have the power of life and death in our tongue. And we sometimes don't know how to bite our tongue and not speak, because the words that we speak out, they have energy, and we don't know what power of energy they have. It could drive somebody through positive or negative. So silence, enduring silence for 3 days can do a lot for you and your spiritual health. So that's what fasting in silence is about. And there's a little journal. There's also a journal that's coming out. It's gonna be a bundle. It's an interactive journal. The first page of the journal is a MASH page. Remember MASH from Judy? Yeah. So it's that kind of interactive journal.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited for that.
all be together coming in September?
September 9/19/19. 999.
9/19.
Alignment.
Alignment. Nice. All right, so what's up with that other book you have?
This is my first novel, and it is called I Fell for New York's Finest.
And where we could get that at?
On Amazon or on my website, everything-aybar.com.
So we was talking about your book that you.
So I fell
The
for
last
New York's
book you wrote.
finest. It's
Say that one more time.
I fell for New York's finest.
Expound on it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Don't give us too much.
Because they gotta
So
buy
it's
it.
based on a true story, and it's a page turner. And actually, before I got here, I actually had somebody looking at the book because they didn't know that I had a book out, and the person started reading it, and she's like, "Where can I buy this? Because you're taking it with you." And she actually so happens to really relate to the way the narrator speaks, because it's a lot of emotion, of enduring pain and getting over a toxic relationship
Right.
through the power of God or prayer, whichever way you want to see it. But it's definitely a book that a lot of women can relate to. He is a cop, the other character in the book.
And it's a true story. Let the people know.
It's a true story.
A love story.
Names have changed to protect people's privacy.
Okay.
But it is based on a true story. It's based on a relationship between a young girl and a cop, and their beautiful love story.
Beautiful love story.
So you said a key word. Even in heartbreak, because there's a life lesson involved, it's still beautiful.
It is.
Would you
Everything
agree?
is beautiful.
Okay.
It's just that also everything can always. It's all about perspective. If you get too focused on the detail, or you focus too much on what it is, it can become ugly. If you try to stare at, have you ever been in a relationship where you just stare at somebody and you're like, are you really that cute? You just start seeing the human in them. You're just like, you have eyes and nose and mouth, and it's just like, okay, let me snap out of this. I'm staring at you too much. So there's beauty in everything, but
There's
I
beauty in
feel
the struggle.
we live in a dark world. The only reason why we have light is because of the sun. That's what we can see.
Damn. Hey, boy, you might have just dropped the fucking mic on that one. You hear me?
Oh, can I do that for you?
And be done and just walk away, and that's it. You're done.
That would be cool. All
I
right.
would have been dope.
So we
All right.
we had a lot of we had some discussions about your book off camera and off mic earlier. What are certain things you want young women to take from this book?
There's a lot. I'm a very selfless individual. I feel like I want to say my environment, or the environment I grew up in, has a lot of selfish individuals. So it's about having balance, because I'm not selfish enough for myself, and I learned that the hard way.
Okay.
But there is a balance, and I feel like sometimes we think too much about ourselves, or I find people, even the partners that I've dated, they think too much more of themselves than of the other person, and it's just, that's not, you should never be in a relationship for that, because it's about partnership and teamwork. Just because you call him girlfriend or boyfriend doesn't take away from the title of them adding on to your life, and vice versa. So if anything, it's about what am I not doing enough of? It's like, what am I lacking?
Okay.
And that you should strengthen that area so you can balance it out, and you could be able to discern when you have moments where you need to make a decision, whether it's good or if you're going to react or not. Because sometimes we react too often and we create more problems. And we're the creators of our own problems. If you don't react, you don't create a problem.
We're the creators of our own problem.
We are.
Another drop mic moment, goddammit.
Can I do it?
We're the creators. No, it's true. It's true.
And so I go and change your setting, take control of your life. That book goes
Hand in
into
hand.
a lot of details about that, and my perspective of life and what the mind and the body and the spirit truly are, and how we can take care of them and be able to live happy. Because I could have turned out to be a very miserable individual, but I choose not to, because happiness is within my control. So why should I let you or anybody else control what I want to feel? I want to feel happy. I'm going to be happy. So I'm just going to smile. Not let you impact my character, my behavior, and how I feel.
Not letting your energy impact my energy.
You're in control with what's within your control. That's it.
I always go by, you only can control what you can control. The rest, you leave it up to God.
Church.
He handled it.
Mm-hmm.
So, where could the public find your literature?
Can you say that again? Because Jennings, I guess, didn't hear when you said.
No, we gotta remind them.
Oh, remind the people. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize. You're right. My
You can
fault.
find I Fell for New York. You can find both books once Fasting in Silence comes out. They're both on my website. You can purchase I Fell for New York's Finest on my website. It's www.everything-aybar.com, which is my hashtag my @ on Instagram.
Okay.
Everything.aybar, didn't have a dash. So. And you can find I Fell for New York's Finest. And my first book, because that's not my first book. My first book is Free Smoke Dreaming, and it's a picture story adult book on cannabis. And they're both on Amazon. So if you have Prime, you'll get it in 2 days.
Dope. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get on that, man. I'm gonna have to get on that. So, everything Aybar. I really hope when this episode comes out, when I finally catch up to everything, people are gonna learn. Hopefully, they'll learn a lot about themselves, because you're a very free spirit person, and I think, like what you were saying, in this world, there's a lot of like chaos, and a lot of people tend to get lost within that noise. So I just hope people could just understand that if you just stay still, that I think you will get like a better understanding of who you are and what you want to do. And also to understand that you're not supposed to be limited to one thing. So don't ever think that you can only do one thing,
How I like to put it is, we all have a life purpose, and we're all born into this world with a gift. It's up to you to discover it. Being alone, you should never be afraid of that, because we're born into this world alone, even if you're born with a twin. Being lonely is just a state of mind, but you're not lonely in this world. There's humans out there. But being alone is one thing that you have to realize, that we live alone, and you have to get comfortable living alone, because you also die alone. So.
Shit, another fucking dropping mic moment, Beloved, you alright over there?
I'm just.
Do you guys see why I'm a writer?
No, I see. I see.
I'm just taking in the sermon.
Oh, just taking in the
I've been told
sermon.
I should become a pastor and preach. And
Yo, real talk.
Spoken word. That's why he asked you the spoken word.
It's on my bucket list. Like, let's say if you get married, I would want to be
ordain his wedding.
I would want to ordain your wedding. Like, I'd get an outfit.
You go ordain.
Put on some like fly kicks.
You go ordain
with a robe.
You go ordain Denver or something, but me walking down the aisle.
Dearly beloved, put me in a flat. Know what I mean?
You gonna scare away the audience. You gotta
no.
Peace and love. Like,
that mean, and you can't drink.
No, I wouldn't drink.
Yeah, I would
before. I would drink after.
You know, it'd be cool if I could ordain a 420 wedding. That'd be dope.
Yo, I want to ordain a wedding. Like, that's on my bucket list. If one of my homies, whether it's you or one of the homies from back home, I want to ordain the wedding, but I don't want anybody to know. They would just see me walk up with my robe.
You will wear a robe.
Do you really think that that's gonna happen in a wedding? Something that's organized by people?
I mean, the people who come to the wedding wouldn't have to know, but obviously the bride and the groom would know.
Okay, all right.
Like, yo, what are you doing? Oh, you didn't know? I got my paperwork. we about to catch the Holy Ghost out here. And when I walk in, IET band is playing some James Brown. walking in.
He has a great setting in his head.
Yeah.
Change your setting.
Yeah. Hopefully, your bucket list wish comes true, beloved.
That's that black girl magic. That's that black girl magic. That's that black girl magic. Black girl this, black girl that. Black girl got it. That's that black girl magic. That's that black girl magic. That's that black girl magic.